On this week's episode of A Win is a Win, Big Noon Saturday is set, and this is Kansas's first appearance on the top Saturday noon stage. We're going to dive deep into all of the action that took place in week 7. And are the Browns having buyer's remorse? And we're going to get into those top picks for this week on BetMaster. So get comfortable and get ready for A Win is a Win.
It's time for the Rookie Rundown.
Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. Well, we have returned to the same place to talk about some NFL action. Yes, but before we do, little housekeeping. Like, subscribe, and share this podcast and tell somebody to tell somebody else about A Win is a Win. And somewhere up there at the top, there's a notification bell. Go ahead and click that so you get those very necessary notifications. Now, let's get into these rookies. Week 7 is officially in the books. And for me, it was a slight head scratcher, just a little bit. Now, you can't talk about rookies unless you talk about Puka Nacua. Now, the Ram continues his dominance on the field, leading number of targets this season at 82. Now, on his heels is Zay Flowers at 54. Looking like an established vet, Nacua put up 8 catches for 154 yards. Despite a Steelers loss, Nacua definitely did put in that work. Jordan Addison said, "I got this. Don't even worry about it. I got it." Put me in the game. Coach turned into the right player in absence of Jefferson. Against the stout 49ers, Addison put up 2 touchdowns and 7 receptions for 123 yards. Now, overthrown by Cousins in the red zone, it put him shy just of another 3rd touchdown. Simply put, he was the reason it was pretty bad for the Niners. Let's go out to those Seahawks. Now, Devin Witherspoon, last but definitely not least, the Seahawk was targeted 3 times against the Cardinals. And in those 3, the intended receiver didn't catch a single ball. Now, he's in the company of, a handful of D-backs in week 7. It's still early. I understand it's still early, but he's still in good company. Witherspoon, simply put, is definitely something special for those Seahawks. So around the league right now, seems that those rookies are showing up when needed and putting in the work that's necessary. Even if it doesn't result in a W, numbers don't lie. All right. Coming up, we are going to get into Campus Gridiron and talk about those Sooners. And there's always some confusion and complaining about how college football rankings go. Well, in Sound Off with Tiff, Campus Gridiron edition, we are going to dive deep into that. So we'll be right back.
Let's see what's up with our Campus Gridiron.
Well, Big Noon kickoff is set, and we are in David Booth Memorial Stadium in Kansas against number 6 Oklahoma Sooners. Now, this is Kansas's first appearance on Big Noon kickoff. Now, Kansas enters the contest at 5-2 on the year and 2-2 in Big 12 play, while Oklahoma enters at 7-0 on the year and 4-0 on Big 12. Now, they trail only Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. Now, with this being homecoming week for Kansas, the Sooners hope to invade the Jayhawks' land and try and get the W. Now, here are my picks. I'm going to put in a three-leg parlay. I'm going to take the over at 65. I'm going to take Oklahoma on the money line and Kansas at plus 10 on the spread. Let me know what you guys got. Comment down in the section. Give me some of your best bets for college football. Now, we're going to jump over here into the top 10 college football quarterback rankings ahead of week 9 that just dropped. So let's run through the list. We have Jackson Dart at number 10 from Ole Miss. Now they've ranked Jordan Travis at number 9 from Florida State. And then you have Drake May from North Carolina was ranked at number 8. We have Oklahoma Sooner Dylan Gabriel at number 7. Bo Nix out of Oregon, he was ranked at number 6. J.J. McCarthy from Michigan was ranked at 5. And coming in at number 4, you have Colorado's Shedeur Sanders. And at number 3, you have Caleb Williams out of USC. And rounding out the top 2, you have Michael Penix Jr. from Washington. And number 1, you have Jaden Daniels from LSU. And that's going to round out the top 10 quarterbacks right now. Now, you know it does change from week to week, but right now ahead of week 9, these are the top 10 quarterbacks. And Jaden just kind of flew past everybody this past week, just went straight to the top. So as you can see, it definitely does change from week to week, and you never know who's going to fall where. And some of those Heisman Trophy candidates may go up and they may go down. You just never know. We'll definitely keep an eye on that. Hold on. Wait. It's time for Sound Off with Tiff. And this is going to be Campus Gridiron Edition. Now, I'm going to talk about my deep-rooted disdain for college football rankings. It is such a problem. It gives me a migraine. It gives me a headache. I have to go lay down, shut the blinds whenever rankings come out. Here's why. One of the issues is subjectivity, basically, of the ranking process. Different organizations and individuals may have different criteria for what makes a team good or worthy, quote unquote, of a high ranking. Additionally, there's often a lack of consistency in the way different teams are evaluated, which can lead to confusion and disagreement. Another issue is the fact that there are multiple ranking systems in use. Like, come on, guys, how many systems do you need? And each with its own set of rules and criteria. This makes it difficult to compare teams across different rankings and contributes to confusion and disagreement. Finally, and this is what really, as you guys know, my favorite saying is burns my grits. There is the issue of bias. Some people may have a bias towards certain teams, conferences, or regions, which can affect their perceptions of teams and their rankings. Overall, the ranking process for college football is complex and can be affected by a variety of factors. And it is important to keep this in mind when considering different rankings and trying to make sense of the disagreements that may arise. Now, the point of all of this is that the rankings aren't based on facts. The voters have their own opinions and may differ on what the priorities are when determining the rankings. If 62 people can't agree on how each team should be ranked, how could you expect millions to agree on the rankings? Now, don't get me wrong, there is no other way that you could rank the teams. so far. There are 130 teams that obviously can't play each other, so there is no way to standardize the evaluation because of that. And because of that, there will always be controversy. And don't even get me started on the college football playoffs. Are you searching for some new NFL gear? Well, go to drT23.site. That is DRT23.site. Click the NFL shop link there. Enter your code NFL30 to get 30% off of your purchase. Let's get back to the show.
Let's get into the sports news.
Nick Bosa, arguably most talked about player in the offseason. Why? Well, regarding his 49er holdout. Missing most of the offseason activity, he returned right before the season and has played in each game. Recently, Nick admitted that training camp absence is holding him back slightly. When asked about his dip in stats and if it corresponded with his absence, he was quoted by saying, "I think a little bit." While still graded one of the best pass rushers with 17 QB hits and 29 QB pressures, it still feels like Nick has more to give. Well, give me an inch and I'll take that mile. Garrett is the most loved Brownie at the moment. And he showed us last week against the Colts just why. Now, if you weren't sold or sure, listen to this. Garrett just purchased a minority stake in the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, in Cleveland, we usually quote and say that it is Believeland. Yes, believing in the land goes miles with diehard Cleveland fans, including myself. With a 5-year, $125 million contract, purchases such as these are no big deal, but it also puts on paper that he believes in the land. Seahawks in Wosu is out with a season-long pectoral injury. Now, with the go-ahead, the Seahawks inked Frank Clark to bring him in. This gives the Seahawks a suitable man down the stretch in absence of Nwosu. This also allows Clark to make an impact for an extended period of time. Also in sports news, if you didn't know, now you know, Julio Jones is now an Eagle. Also, if you didn't know, now you know, Jerry Jones is still running his mouth. And out of his mouth comes what? A whole lot of we don't understand. Jerry Jones was quoted saying he's not interested in the trade deadline unless someone picks up the phone and calls him. Well, Jerry, it doesn't quite work like that. Hey, Jerry, let me give you a call and see how I can make your team better. No, Jerry historically just rambles and says things on his multiple radio shows he has in Dallas, on his multiple interviews he holds before the game, on the sidelines when he's down there on the field. You never know what comes out of Jerry Jones's mouth. But what we do know, and to his slight credit, is that he does know how to work the draft. In the meantime, Jerry, please just be the owner. Coming up next, we're going to get into some injuries. We'll be right back.
Who's hurt? Who's ready to go? Time for the injury report.
Might not be looking so pretty for the 49ers. Brock is expected to be in concussion protocol in the upcoming matchup against the Bengals. It seems the injury stemmed from the QB sneak or attempted tush push coined by Hurts and the Eagles. That means Sam Darnold will get some minutes under center. Something to keep an eye on for sure. And I don't think this takes the Niners out of playoff talks, but you definitely don't want to go down potentially 3 losses in a row. Tannehill is out due to that ankle injury, leading the Titans to give both QBs rookie Will Levi and youngster Malik Willis to both get reps in against the Falcons. Something you don't normally see in the NFL. Still, should be interesting to see both young signal callers decide who might be the future of the Titans franchise. Now, I'm going to stop and sing a little tune. And it goes like this: something, 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 something just ain't right. If you know, you know. I might be telling my age, and if you know that song, air high five. Unlike Myles Garrett, Deshaun Watson isn't beloved so much if you're a Cleveland fan. Missing 11 games to suspension, another few after being cleared by doctors, but not medically clearing himself. After signing a fat, insane $250 million deal. Hold on. For a player who didn't even want to come to the Browns, who outright said, "Don't send me there." He wanted to be a Raven. We all remember that, I'm sure. But in the truest essence of Cleveland Browns ownership, here's the blank check. Fill it in. Make it worth your while and come on over. Well, it gets worse. That's right, I'm not even close to being done. Last week, he injured or re-injured his shoulder, exited the game against the Colts. Now, he has since been ruled out already against Seattle. Something is just not right. And this is something that is not seen often on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Is the injury that severe? Or is Deshaun really committed? You have to ask these questions. Medically cleared by team doctors, but you aren't medically clearing yourself. In one interview, Stefanski said, "I'm holding him back." In the next interview, Deshaun Watson said, "No, it was me holding me back." Story changes. It's too inconsistent. But what is consistent is that the Cleveland Browns consistently make very poor choices when it comes to financial decisions for players. You give up 5 years for $250 million to a player who seemingly is saying, "I'm good. This is not quite where I want to be." Some people may say, "Wait until next year, Tiff. Just hold on. If we get to 2024 and you're reaching that salary cap, I don't want to hear it." What is the problem? What's the reason? Why is the Browns organization continuously making poor financial decisions? Because if I'm in that conference, let's say I'm the Steelers, or I'm the Ravens, or Cincinnati for that matter, I'm sitting back with my popcorn and I am laughing out loud. At any rate, Cleveland, in my opinion, is nearing buyer's remorse, and rightfully so. Put your checkbooks up and put your brains where they need to be to make good decisions for Cleveland football, because the fans, like myself, are tired. Coming up next, we're going to get into my favorite segment. And what is that? You know, Bet Masters. We'll be right back. Join me on DraftKings. Go to Dr. T23.site. That is DRT23.site. Go ahead and click join me on DraftKings and get your $200 bonus bet when you bet $5 instantly on DraftKings Sportsbook money lines, totals, and same game parlays. DraftKings has the action.
It's a bet. Time for Bet Masters.
One bet that I particularly like this week is the New England Patriots taking on the Miami Dolphins. Miami won the first matchup a few weeks ago, but this feels different. Miami has lost 2 games since then, including last week to the Eagles. Meanwhile, the Patriots got their beset win over the Buffalo Bills. Now, they also kept it very close. Keep in mind the last time they met up. And don't forget, Tyreek Hill isn't expected to suit up with his hip injury, and Waddle is limited in practice due to his back injury. Now, this game could be a very interesting upset pick. The next bet that I really like is the Texans over the Carolina Panthers. Now, the Panthers haven't really been consistently competitive this year, and the Texans, they have shown ability to blow out teams. Now, Houston is a young squad, but they've kind of figured it out quicker than Carolina. There's not much left to say here. Houston should take the W. Lastly, I'm going to take the Chiefs over the Broncos. I just don't see Wilson outlasting Mahomes towards the end of the game. The Chiefs still have only 1 loss under their belt this year, while the Broncos have a total of only 2 wins under their belt. Now, it's a close game only because it's a divisional game. That's it. But it's hard to imagine that Russell is going to outlast Mahomes in any sense of the word. So those are my picks this week. Let me know what your picks are and drop those off in the comments. Now, before we go and wrap this up, a quick note about Thursday night football between the Bills and the Bucks. Now, the game will be played in Buffalo and will feature both teams coming off divisional losses that they were favored to win. Now, how each talented offense will respond has yet to be seen, but you can definitely expect each group to be more motivated than ever. Now, talent-wise, Buffalo should have the edge, yet they consistently play down to their opponents, and the Bucks are absolutely a team that will take advantage. So here's my SGP, my same game parlay for tonight's Thursday night football. I have Stephon Diggs to score a touchdown, anytime touchdown score. We have Cook to score a touchdown, anytime touchdown score. Stephon Diggs to score 2 or more touchdowns. I got James Cook, 25 plus yards and alternative rushing yards. Stephon Diggs, over 50 receiving yards, alternative rushing yards. Put $10 on that, get you back 204.81. And that is going to end it for this episode of A Win is a Win. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Tell somebody to tell somebody else to listen to and join A Win is a Win. Hit that bell up there for those notifications, and we'll see you guys next week.